Hi guys, good evening. Let's get started for today's session. Let me share my screen. Can you all see my screen? Okay. Yeah. So yesterday we saw some fundamentals of how to handle forms in React. So using a normal control form and the formic library. So this is what we saw yesterday. So did you guys tried out your task that I gave you yesterday? So at least 2 to 3 people who can demo now. Yeah, can anyone demo? We can take over the screen share access. Okay. Super. Yeah. Already. Super. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the demo. Any other students here? So who can demo now? Okay. Okay. Already. Okay. Cool. Okay. So now, hope other students might have tried it. Okay. So please do the task in that day. Okay. So you will forget the concepts if you don't try out in the same day. Okay. So this is for sure. So please try out the task in that particular day, and so that you will understand the concepts that you learned on that particular day. So what happens here is, so you know the concepts like what is a state and what is a prop and what is a life cycle and other things. Okay, but when you start coding, okay, there comes a number of errors, and then only you will start to learn the scenario that okay, so if you don't, if you use in this kind of syntax, so there will be an error. So those kind of things, it comes from practice. Okay. So here, when I show you, when I teach you, I can share you the insights of how to write the particular code. Okay. I cannot share like if you do this there will be an error and other things. Okay. So it depends on the developer who do that. Okay. So please try out those things. Please make errors and learn from it. Okay. So that is the only thing that I want to convey. If you don't do that, it will be very difficult for you to understand in the when you refresh for your interview. Okay. So it will be like I'm taking new topics again and again. So in the upcoming sessions as well, I will be adding some more topics. So it will be kind of like it will feel like a dump because you didn't try it. Okay. So when you start trying, it will not feel like a dump. That's the thing here. Okay. So the topic for today is, so we saw about what is a form handling and other things yesterday. Okay. So we'll move to the next topic. So did you guys learn Fetch API in your JavaScript part? So you might have learned it. Did you guys learn them? Learn them? Fetch API. Okay. So what is the purpose of Fetch API? So basically, we will be fetching data from the server. So there will be there will be a server URL, and you will be pointing to that particular server, and in response, it will be in return, it will give you a response. Okay, so that's all about your fetch API. Okay, same way here in React. Okay, so the same fetch also will work, but we usually prefer a library called Axios. Okay, so Axios and fetch does the same. So you need to go, you need to give a URL, and you need to mention the method, like whether it is a get API or post API or put or delete. Okay, so those things. So you'll be giving that particular configuration, and it will give you a response in return. Okay, so that's what Axios library is. So what is an API? So API is nothing but we say it as application programming interface. Okay, so what is an application programming interface in short? Let's see now. Okay, so what is an API? So API, so you know the term, what is an API? So application programming interface. So what is mean by application programming interface? That's the question. Okay, so you have a client application. So client application is nothing but a front-end application. So it uses something called HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or the React or jQuery or Angular, whatever the libraries. Okay, you need to fetch data from server. Okay, so there is two applications we have two, that is a web architecture. Okay, so you will have a client. Okay, and you will have a server. Okay, so client is nothing but it is going to present some data in certain format, like web page and other things. Okay, so we'll be serving the user. So that's what the web page development is. Okay, so client. Server is nothing but it is going to manipulate the data. It will communicate with the database. So basically, it will communicate with the database. Okay, so basically, server will communicate with the database, and in return, your client and server speak with each other and get the data between them. Okay, so basically, client should communicate with server, and same way server should communicate with client. Okay, and in the server will communicate with database. Okay, and database it will give you some data. You will push new data and other things. Okay, so here the major part between the communication between the client and server, right? That's something called application programming interface. So interface. So that it is kind of an interface that acts between, like an intermediator between your client and server. Okay. So that is something called API. So how to achieve it? So we have HTTP, right? So that is a protocol. So protocol is hypertext transfer protocol. So HTTP. So using client and in order to communicate between client and server, we need interface called API, something called application programming interface. So this is a client application. This is a server side application. Okay, and there is an interface between them. So that's called application programming interface. Okay. So how to achieve them? So how do they communicate? Using a protocol called HTTP. Okay, so hypertext transfer protocol. Okay, so HTTP. Using HTTP, the client and server is communicating. Okay, so how to communicate with the server? There are different types of methods. One is get. Okay, one is post and put and delete. Okay, so there are many more methods. Okay, so we basically use it in this way. So whenever we communicate between the client and server, okay, so we need to use API. So how do API work? Using HTTP methods. Okay, so get, post, and put and delete. Okay, so now, so when we should use get, when we should use post, and when you should use put, and when you should use delete. Okay, so that is the question here. Okay, so now so this is the scenario. Okay, consider you have an users table. Okay, so in order to fetch all the users from the database, so all the users from the list. Okay, so we basically use get API. Okay, so basically get data. Okay, and using the post method, we will be creating new data. Okay, so create data. Put is nothing but there is already a data inside your user thing. Okay, in order to update them, okay, we use a method called put. Okay, so update data. Okay. Then if you want to delete a particular data, we need to use something called delete method from your HTTP, and that's something called delete data here. Okay. So this is the protocol that we usually follow. It's not like, for example, using post method also you can update data, or using put data also using put also you can create a data. Okay, so that's not that it happens. Okay, but there is a protocol that you need to use it. Your API should build should be built in that way. Okay, so using get method, you should get the data. Okay, using whatever the data that you want to retrieve from your server side, you should use get. Okay. Same way, if you want to create a new data, for example, here you have a users form. So yesterday we saw job application, right? So here we had a form here, okay, in our job application. So once the form is filled, what we will do? So it is going to be sent to the server, right? So using that, we will be creating a new job application. So using post method only, we will be sending that particular form. Same way, you have already applied the form and they will be giving you certain kind of like application ID or any other thing. Okay. Using that application ID, if you want to update the data, you can use something called put. Suppose if you want to delete the application that you have applied, you can use delete method there. Same way, if you want to retrieve the application that you already posted, okay, you can use that for get method. Okay. So this is the protocol that you need to follow. Okay. So to give you a quick refresh here, see here, so in order to communicate between the client and server, we need an intermediate. Okay, so that is something called an interface. Okay, interface between your client and server. Okay, so here it is a application called client application. So here there is a server side application. Those applications should be should communicate using API. So that's called application programming interface. Okay, how do they communicate? Using a protocol called HTTP. Okay, so what are all the methods that are in HTTP protocol? Get, post, put, and delete. So this is the common methods that we usually follow. Okay. So we need to know. So when we want to use get, when we want to use post, and when we want to use put, and when we want to delete. So that's what here. So if you want to retrieve data, or the something called getting the data, you can use get API or the get method. If you want to create a new data into your server, you need to use something called post method. If you want to update the existing data, for example, you already have a data, you need to use something called put method. And if you want to delete the data, you need to use something called a delete method. Okay, clear on this? So clear on the basic part. So this is how your web application communicates. Okay, so I could get responses in the chat. Okay, so now we are very, this is very basic. Okay, though this is not like very specific to React. Okay, this applies to whatever the web application that you have. It can be like mobile application, or it can be like any other application or desktop application. Okay, all the application follow this particular standard. Okay, so that is the thing. So now so now we need to see in our case. Okay, so what I'll do is I have a fake server. Okay, so I have a fake server called JSON placeholder. Okay, so if you go to this particular website, JSON placeholder called typicode.com. Okay, so it gives us some free fake API. Okay, so fake API is nothing but, for example, if you call this URL, okay, so call this URL using get method. So this is the URL. Okay, so if you use like get method, okay, and add something called, so that it gives 4 things. So users, post, and comments and other things. Okay, I can use something called users here. Okay, so if you call something like this, okay, you call this URL using get method, it will give you all the users data. Okay, so let's see. Same way, if you use the same URL to post a new data, okay, so it will you need to send your form, right? For example, you are going to create a new user now. Okay, so you need to send some JSON data like name equal to something like and you can pass any data. Okay, same way, the same put API here. Okay, so same URL if you use here. So put API is nothing but it's going to update your data, right? So each and every data will have an ID for each and every users. Okay, so using that ID, so here, for example, if you want to update the user with the ID 1, okay, so that particular data you should mention here. So this is how we will update the data. Same way for delete, the same URL. So what is the data that you want to delete? For example, I need to delete the first user with ID 1. Okay. So this is how we will be creating APIs basically in wherever you go. So this is the format we basically follow. Okay. It can be users, it can be student, it can be anything, any API, or it can be courses or anything. Okay. So we basically follow this methodology. Okay. So what is the methodology? So we will have a URL. Okay. Slash users. So what it means is this is going to this is an API for users. Okay. Getting fetching the users data. So consider it can be it can have something like students. Okay. It's up to you. You are going to build that in the backend. Okay. So backend in your backend in our Node.js class. Okay. You will get to know how to do this. Okay. For now, so there is an API called users in your backend. Okay. So this is your backend. Consider this website is your backend. It gives some fake API. Okay. So fake API is nothing but it will just mimic the data. Okay. So for example, if you do this, okay. So whenever you create a new resource, what it does, it will give us a response like it has been inserted into a database. Okay. But in the real time, it is not inserted. Okay. So it will just give us some response, fake response. Okay. So because this is a training class, right? So we need this alone now. Okay. So when we start building Node.js application, okay, then you can learn certain things. Okay. So for now, this is the format. Okay. It can be any API, users, students, or whatever. Okay. So whenever you use get API, you need to use something called slash users. Okay. Suppose you can use the same get API to get the use only one user. Okay. So if you want to get the user with the ID 1, okay, you can use this particular URL. So get API again, get method again. Okay. So post user slash 1. Okay. And if you use the same URL, if you use post method, you need to send a resource. What is a resource? Because you are going to create a new resource, right? Or create a new user, right? So you need to send the user information. Same way if you want to create students, if you want to create mentor, or if you want to create yeah, material, item, whatever the things here. Okay. So you can have it here. Okay. So that's the thing. Same way, put API is to update a particular data, right? So your URL should be something like this. So for example, if you want to update the first user, okay, so user slash 1, okay, and update what is the data that you are going to update, okay, you need to send that particular data and it will be updated. Same applies for your delete, okay. So delete is to delete a particular user, right? So you just need to send the ID of that particular user and that particular user will be deleted, okay. So this is the methodology we usually follow whenever we use APIs, okay. Clear on this? Can everyone confirm? So this is the basic of your API. So you should know this before starting with your React part. So this is not again this is not a part of React. Okay, so this is very common with APIs and other things. Okay, yeah. So now we are ready to communicate with the server. Okay, so let's test it. Okay, so in order to test the APIs, okay, so by default, if you enter this URL in your browser, okay, so whenever so your browser here, right? So whatever that you type in here, that is something called get method. Okay, so only get method can be done via your browser. Okay, so whatever that you type in here, okay, so that is by default it will take something called a get method. Okay, see here now. So I'm doing slash users. Okay, so it is displaying all the users data. Okay, see. So something like this is a fake response. So for example, a user with ID 1 and some name here, username, email, address, phone, website, and other things. Okay. So this is not only with users. Okay. So it gives multiple APIs. For example, the same to do. Okay. So you guys did to dos, right? So see here now. So it will give us a to dos as well. So to dos here. So ID 1, title, what is the to do that he mentioned, it is completed or not. Okay. So those things. So you can mention any data. For example, if I use posts, okay, so post is nothing but something like you have Facebook post, right? So you will have some title and you will have some contents inside the post. So those things, title and body. So some fake API here. Okay. The same applies to others as well, saying something like comments. Okay. So it will give all the data. Okay. So basically, this is what it works. Okay. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use API called post. Okay, so post is nothing but something like users here. Okay, so I'm going to use a thing called post. So what is a post? So posts are nothing but I told you, right? It's something like a Facebook post. Okay, so they are having post ID for each and every post. So ID 1 ID to what is the title of the post, what is the body of the post. Okay, and with along with that there is a user ID. So who is the user who created this particular post? Okay, so user ID 1. Okay, so these are all some sample data it has. Okay, so I told you, right? So here it is something like your get API by default if you use it in the browser. Okay, so in order to test your post method, put method, delete method, so we need a tool to identify it. So there is a tool called Postman. Okay, so it comes with the browser extension. So I already have them. So if you go here, Postman download. Okay, so here is the website. So Postman, just go here and install the particular tool. I'll share you this at the end. Okay, so Postman. Okay, so once you do this, so this is basically to test your API. So see here now, quickly get started using the Postman API, or if you prefer to whatever the title they have. Okay, so basically we will use them for testing our APIs. Okay, so I have my Postman here. Okay, so here, so it's installed. So when you install, so this will look like something like this. Okay, very blank. Okay, so go over here. Okay, so plus icon. Yeah, it will look like your browser directly. Something like you have get API here, right? Same way. But the only thing is we can select what is the method that you want. Get, post, put, delete, and other things. Okay. So see here now. I'm going to use post API now. Okay, and using get method and just send. See, it is giving me some data. See here now, the same data that I mentioned here, right? So the same data has been getting listed here. Okay. Suppose if you want to get one particular post, okay. So we have ID here, right? So we can just go over here. Suppose if you want to mention get the 20-second post, you can mention something like this. Okay, see, only the 20-second post. So ID equal to 22 and its corresponding data. Okay, same if you can mention anything like 12. Okay, so something like this. Okay, if you want to get all the posts, just go here. Okay, it will list all the posts here. So by default it will give you total 100 posts. Okay, so if you go to at the end, see here ID equal to 100. Okay, so now if you use post API, okay, and here in your, okay, so we need to create a resource. So here, so what is the purpose of post API? To create a new data, okay, or to create a new resource. Okay, so basically here, what is the resource that we have? Something called post. Okay, so post is nothing but I told you that. So FB post or whatever the thing. Okay, the same post. Okay, so currently in your DB there is around ID equal to 100, like 100 posts in your DB. Okay, so when you insert a new post, okay, so when you call post using post API, okay, so go over here. Okay, so this is a post API. So here there will be something called body. Okay, so body is nothing but the body of the request. So you need to send your request in your body. Okay, so whatever the data that you want to create, it should be sent used in the body section. Okay, so the same will be implemented in your Axios. I will show the Axios thing here. Okay, this is with your Postman. Okay, so post, this is the URL, and this is the method that I'm using. Okay, and inside the body I need to use something called raw here. Okay, I need to send as a JSON data. Okay, so what I'm doing here is from my client, okay, I am sending some data to server. What is the data? Yeah, a new user is going to be inserted here. Okay, so how am I sending the data? In the format of JSON. Okay, so JSON, so you know what is JSON. So JSON is nothing but JavaScript object notation. It looks like a normal JavaScript object. Okay, so see here now I'm going to send a data. Okay, so in order to create a resource, okay, so I need to send all the fields, right? For example, user ID, title and body, right? So see here now, I will send some sample data. So user ID equal to something like 12. Okay, and I can have, okay, I will have 5, something like this. Okay, so what are the details that you want to know here? Title. Okay, so title, test. Okay, and what else the details? What body? Okay, so body can be something like test body and test title. Okay, so this is the new resource that I'm going to create. Okay, so why did not I mention ID? What is the reason? So when creating a new resource, why am I not sending the ID? Yes. So your ID will be created by your API itself. Okay. So in the backend, it is auto generated. Okay. See here now. So once this is a post API. Okay. I have the list of details to be sent. Okay. If I do send here, in response, it will give you an ID. ID something called 101. So using this, you can understand that your API is successful and your data has been inserted and it generates an ID with 101. Okay. So this is how you need to modify your, you need to add a new data. Okay. So clear on the post API and get API, the method, get method and post method. Can everyone confirm? Please respond, guys. Okay. Now, what if we give ID? Will it get posted? So see here now. So if I send ID, okay. So what you ask is, if I mention ID here, what will happen? Okay. So in the backend, so when we start with React.js, Node.js, you will come to know that. Okay. So what it means is, in your backend, so this, just know the flow alone now. Okay. So you are sending this data. Okay. So this particular data is directly pushed to your database. Okay. In your database, we will be setting some configuration that the ID should be generated whenever a new data is inserted. Okay, and that particular ID you will be getting. Okay, so even if you send data, okay, so even if you send data or even if you send ID here, what will happen here is it will neglect them. Okay, so that's how we will be writing in the backend. Okay, so what is the difference between user ID and ID? It is just data. Okay, so here, so in the case of post API, what it means is a user has posted a blog post. Okay, so that is the thing. For example, you go to FB. Okay, so in your FB, what you will do? So as a user, you come to the FB. Okay, and you will have some title to them, and you will add some post images or body and other things. Okay, so those things will be inside your body. Okay, so same with title. Okay, so also in your database you need to know which user has created this particular post, right? That particular user ID is something called 10 here. Okay, so this using the 10 ID, so there will be a user in the database with the ID 10. So what it means is, this post is created by a user called 10, a user ID called 10, and this ID for this particular post is 96. Okay, difference between the user ID and ID. Can we send only user ID? Will it be added to the data? Yeah, it's up to the server. Okay, so that this is just a fake API. Okay, so when you build application, you will do some validations in your backend. For example, there should be title, there should be body, there should be user ID. Those validation you should do in your backend. Okay, but here in this particular API, it might allow you. Okay, so see here now. So I'm going to remove this and send over here. See, okay, just give a minute. So it is allowing you to insert. Okay, but in the real time scenario, you should not do that. Okay, so you should validate. So basically, whenever you get that particular form here, so if you go to the FB here, okay, so you go to FB, you didn't type anything at all in your body. Okay, will it allow you to post? It will not allow you to post, right? So it is an empty data. There is no meaning in creating a post because you have an empty data inside your body. Okay, so or in your blog post. Okay, so in that case you will do some validations in your front end. For example, yesterday we used some front end validation, right? You should mandatorily you should fill the data. So that's how the same validation will be done in your backend. Okay, so basically it will throw you an error from the backend that you should fill your title, body, and user ID, everything that it needed. Okay, already. Okay, if we put duplicate ID, yeah, that's what. So whatever the questions that you ask, okay, so those things as a developer you need to do it in the backend. Okay, so you should think as a tester. Okay, So for example, you should not allow duplicate user ID, you should not allow duplicate email ID, or you should not allow multiple, for example, without user ID, without title, without body, you should not allow them to insert. Those validation, you will be doing it in your put API. So in your server, okay. So what it means is, here I'm calling HTTPS and slash users with put API, right? Okay. So there will be a logic in the backend, like whenever there is a post API coming to this particular URL, okay. So you should there will be some logics behind the scenes, okay. So there you need to write those logics. So what are the logics? You need to restrict them to give the duplicate IDs. You should give and you need to do some validations, like there should be title, body, and everything, okay. So it's the responsibility of of a developer to do those validation. Okay. So put is nothing. So put, get. Okay. So those things are just a protocol. Okay. So they are not going to do validation or any other thing. Okay. So in the end, you are going to write have those validations in the backend. Okay. So that's the thing. So now here we just had the data here. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'm going to get here. Okay. And get the fifth user data. Okay. So get API. So fifth post data. You can see here something like some weird language that has been printed here. Okay. I'm going to update this. Okay. So same, I'm going to update my fifth data. I'm going to have put now. So what is the data I'm going to update? For example, user ID currently is it's 1. Okay. So I'm going to update it to 5. Okay. Same way, current the title of the fifth post is something like this. I'm going to update it to test title. Same way, body. Okay. So if I do this, see here now, the same ID equal to 5 now. Okay. So the user ID is changed, title is changed, and body is changed. Okay. So that's how your put API works. Okay. So what you should get from this particular API class here is, okay. So whenever you use a get API with no params, so something like this, okay, it will retrieve all the users data. So that's how you need to build the API. Same way, if you use user/1, it should retrieve first user's data. Same way, if you use post API, it needs data to be sent. Okay, what is the data? The data that you want to create, that you need to send that particular data. Okay, in response, what will be coming? So it will be inserted and you will get some ID. Okay, so to have a confirmation. Same way for put API, you need to send what is the data that you are going to update. Okay, and the data that you want to update. Okay, so in return, what will happen? The updated data will be coming as a response. Okay. So here, see here, the updated data will be coming as a response. Okay. Same way when you use delete here. So if I use delete, okay. So if I send this, okay. See, it will be deleted. Okay, and the empty response will be coming. Okay. So this is how a normal API works. Okay. So this is not specific with React or any other thing or Node.js. Okay. Whatever the application is, it can be Java, it can be Python, or it can be any backend languages. Okay. It will give you a response in this way only. Okay. Clear? So in this way only you will be creating APIs. So we'll be seeing it in the Node.js class. So we'll do the same thing. Okay. Clear? Can everyone confirm? Already. Okay. So let's get started. Okay. So we'll start with React first now. So I just gave you an introduction of how API works. So now am.js. Okay, so I have my counter application already. So what I'll do is I will run the application, desktop, Groovy app, and npm start. Okay, our application is what is the purpose to use Postman? Only visualization. Exactly. Yeah, only for the visualization purpose. Okay. So we are going to test our API. So once you develop your backend languages, okay, for example, suppose you created an API in the backend using Node.js, if you want to test them, you need to use this particular tool. Okay. So that's the thing. So nothing other than that for the Postman. Okay, so Postman is to test your APIs. So we cannot give delete method, post method, and put method in your browser, right? So basically, this particular browser, if you enter here, okay, that's something called get method. Okay, so other things like other methods are can be done using some tools only. It can be unit testing, or even it's not like unit testing. So you develop application. For example, you develop API in your backend. Okay, how can you test it? Or whenever you develop here, for example, you modify certain things, and you need to test when you're developing, right? Whether the response is coming or not, the desired response is coming or not, and other things, right? So basically, that is the purpose of it. It's not like completely testing. So it's like whenever you're developing your APIs, if you want to test side by side, so you develop, you test there, you develop and test there. So if the desired response is done, okay, so we'll move to, we will be giving it to the front end. Okay, so we will be giving to the front end team, and front end team will use your API to display the data. Okay, so that's how the process works. So now, so now logically, what will the front end developer do? He'll again come to the Postman, okay, and you gave him the APIs, right? He will test those APIs and check the response. The same response is coming or not in your React application. He will cross verify. Okay, so that's how it works. So Postman is something like, it is not something like only for the testers or any other things. Okay, so basically, if you want to test your API, okay, so you'll come here. Okay, so that's the thing. So now let's move on to the React part now. So what I'll do is I'll create a component. Okay, so post app. Okay, so this is going to be using your class component, right? I mean states now. Okay, so import React component class post app extends component. Okay, so if you feel like you are doing in this way, so I will give you a thing here. Okay, so it is, if you feel like this is always we are doing in this way, okay, you just import React alone. Okay, here. Okay, and inside React there will be a component. Okay, you can do it in this way if you want. Okay, so this is one kind of a syntax. Suppose if you want to don't if you don't want to do it in this way, like object destructuring. Okay, so inside React itself there will be a component. Okay, React is also something kind of an object. Okay, so inside that there will be a component. Okay, you can use it in this way also. So render. So for now I will return, okay, some sample data. Okay, some paragraph tag here. So welcome to we post app. Okay, simple message. Okay, so export default post app. Okay, so now in my app.js, I will remove my job app now. Okay, I will have my post app. So post app here. Okay, I can have here. Okay, okay. For now, I don't need it now. Okay, so I'll have the post app alone. Okay, so I have created a component called post app. Okay, I just rendered it in the app.js. Okay, very simple. Okay, so now what I'll do is, so what we are going to achieve here is, I'm going to have a table. Okay, in the table, okay, I'm going to display user ID, title, body, everything. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to communicate to JSON placeholder from my React application, get the data from the server, and display it here in my UI. Okay, so that is what I'm going to achieve now. Okay, so let's see. So in my constructor, so because I'm going to have my post data, so post, right? So each and every post, all the posts I need to store it in an array. Okay, so I will have a state now. Okay, so first super. So in my state, okay, I will have an array called posts. Okay, so initially it should be empty. Okay, so initially it should be empty. So here what I'll do is I'm going to create a table. That's what I mentioned you here. I'll have table header here. Here, what are the titles? So what are the title that we have? ID. And what are the title? This is going to be your table header. Okay, post ID. So what else? Body title. Okay, so I'll have title. I will have body. Okay, so just a table header. Okay, so now in the body section. So now you are going to answer me. How to loop through each and every post. Suppose your post is here. Okay, you need to loop those things here and response. So your response should be something like this. So tr inside td. So the ID of the post, the post ID, the title, the body. Okay. So how can we loop through the post array? Exactly. So we need to use something called post.map. Okay. So if you did yesterday's task of rendering all the to-dos, this is easy. That's why I asked you to render all the to-dos below that particular form. Okay. So if you have tried it, this is very easy. See here. So this dot state dot post state dot post. Okay, dot map. Okay, this is what I told you yesterday in the initial stage itself. So I'll be getting each and every post here, right? So basic JavaScript loop. Here I will be returning this data. Simple. Okay. So now here what I should do. So can you answer at least now? Here. So here I need to paste my ID. I need to have my post ID. I need to have title. Sorry, it's user ID. Okay. So this is the table header. Okay. So if we go here, so this is the table header now. ID, user ID, title, and body, and other things. Okay. So inside that, I am going to have a row for each and every row. For example, ID. So the data for this particular thing here is ID1, user ID1, title, and body. Okay. So ID1, user ID1, title, body. Okay. I need to display it in that way. Okay. So now what should I do? Here. Okay, exactly. So here and to render that for each and every ID here, right? So post.id, then post.user ID, post.title, and post.body. Okay, I can copy it here. So post.user ID, post.title, post.body. Okay, simple. Okay, so if I go here, so since we don't have any data here, okay, so it's empty array, right? So that's why it's showing an error. Okay, I mean showing you empty data. So what I'll do is I will take a sample response from here. Okay, just a copy and have it in my array initialized here. Okay, so I just had a sample data. Okay, so now your post should have data and it should be rendered. See, so my ID, user ID, title, and body is displayed. Same way, if you want to display all the 400 data, you need to first communicate to the particular JSON placeholder. So now, logically, what we should do here, okay? So initially, it is empty, okay? So initially, it is empty. So your post will not have any data, okay? So I'm asking you a question, okay? So what I have done here is I had an array in my state that is something called post, okay? Posts, okay? And I have a table, something called ID, user ID, title, and body as header, okay? And inside your body, I'm rendering the post here, okay? Each and every post, that's something like post.id, post.user. So this is basic JavaScript. See here now. See, we have post here. It's an array. So you are doing some map functionality. Each and every post will be getting it here. Okay. So instead you are returning the HTML element with tr tag. Okay. And td tag. Inside that we will have something called post ID, user ID, title, and body. Okay. So now this particular post is rendered. Okay. So now I need to communicate with this particular API from my app. Okay. And get the data and store it in the posts. Okay. So how do we how we need to do? So before that, you guys clear about this? Clear about this code? Can everyone confirm? So clear on this particular code? So once you understand this, you will understand the next part. The first part is we just initialized a post array and loop through each and every post and displayed data here, ID, user ID, title, and body. And I have some sample data here. I showed you. So again, if you want to show, I want me to show you, I will show here. Okay. So I just had some sample data inside just one data. Okay. So if I go here, it will display here. Okay. Same way, if I have multiple deltas inside it, so if I have one more column, okay, so one more object inside it, okay. So if I go here, two data will be displayed, okay. So that is different. So instead of doing it in the like statically having it the data, okay, instead having statically inside your array, I am going to communicate with this particular post and get the data and have it in the post and it will render again. Okay. So let's see. So in order to communicate with that particular API, okay, I told you I'm going to use a API library called Axios. Okay. So what is the library here? So we go on to the documentation here. So this is the library, okay, Axios. So it's the npm package. Okay, see the downloads. So weekly downloads. This is a popular package we usually use for React application. Okay, so you can even use the normal fetch API, but we usually prefer this. Okay, so it is very lightweighted and it is easy to work. Okay, so let's see. So let's see the syntax now. So I'm going to install that particular package. So in your case, you need to use something called npm install Axios. So I'm having yarn. Okay, so I will use yarn here. Okay, so now it's ready. Okay, my package has been installed. So I will start the application again. So my Axios package is installed. Let's verify here. Okay, in the package.json there will be the data, right? So package.json. Okay, see, Axios has added as a dependency. Okay, yesterday we saw Farmik, so Farmik is added as a dependency. Okay, so now before that, okay, so in the package.json you mentioned all your dependencies. Okay, suppose if you remove Farmik, what will happen? You have used your Farmik in your application. Okay, but if you remove the Farmik library, what will happen? Your application will throw an error or crash, right? That's why it is something called dependencies. Okay, so without these libraries, your application won't work. So that is the meaning. Okay, so if I remove, for example, I'm going to use Axios here. Okay, something like import Axios from Axios library. Okay, and if I use this and use some condition, use those method inside your application. Okay, and then I come here in the dependency, I remove this. What will happen? It will throw you an error when you run. Okay, so when you run npm install or when you start your application. Okay, that's why it's called dependencies. So now I have installed a library called Axios. Okay, so what it is going to do? It is going to communicate. We are going to communicate to the JSON placeholder. Okay, using that particular library. Okay, so what I'll do is we have four things, right? One is get, one is something like post. Okay, in that case, what you'll do is I will have a function called get data. Okay, or I can have the same name, get posts. Okay, so one function. Same way I will have four functions. Okay, so get post, create post, update post, and delete posts. Okay, simple. Okay, I'm going to have three functions. Okay, I will explain that. Here I'm going to make an API call to the server, API call to server, and get data. Okay, same way here in my create post, what I'll do is using this particular function, I just create a function. It's up to you. You can create a function or not. You can. It's up to you. I usually prefer this. Whenever you take an application using that particular action. So what are all the action that you are going to perform? Create a function for each and every action. So this particular library, this particular function is going to get an API call, make an API call to the server and get the data. Same way, this API call to the server and create new data or add new data. Okay, same way, API call to the server and update and existing data. Okay, same way, API call to the server here. Okay, API call to the server and delete data. Okay, so in the case of delete data, I will have post here. Okay, so get posts here, add new post, update an existing post. Okay, delete a post. Simple. Okay, so these four function is going to handle certain things. Okay, so first thing is I need to make an API call to the server and get all the data. Okay, so get all the data and display it here. Okay, so I'm going to make an API call to this particular server. Okay, and get the data and going to display it here. Okay, so what is the thing that we need to do? We need to make an API call to the server using get API, get method, right? So this is the syntax. See here now, Axios. Okay, so you have imported Axios here, right? So if it is a get method, Axios.get. Okay, if it is a post method, Axios.post. Same way, if it is a put method, it's put. Same way for delete. Okay, so for now, I'm going to use get method. So get. Okay, here the first parameter should give us your URL. Okay, so what is the URL that you are going to fetch? Okay, so this is the URL, right? I will have the URL here. Okay, so I'm making an API call to this particular server, okay, using get method. Okay, so that is how this Axios syntax is. Axios.get and your URL. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so now I explained you about async await in the first class, right? In the second class, right? So I think you guys told me that we haven't learned async await. Then I told you the purpose of it. Am I right? Yeah. Okay. So the same applies here. Okay. So this particular API will take some time to get the response, right? Okay. So then what we need to use? We may need to use the callback function or promises, okay, or async await. Okay. So C we need to use async await. So how to use your async await? Here we will be using something called await here. Okay. So if we use await, what should be the scenario? What should be the condition? So if you remember, you can answer this. So if I want to use await, yes, exactly. So I need to use async here. Okay. So async function and await here. Okay. So now if the API is success, what we will get? Okay. So I'm going to have try here. Okay. So try fetching data here. Okay. So if this is success, what we will get? We'll be getting the successful data, right? So I will store the successful data here. Okay, so or the response here, successful response. Okay, so if there is an error happening here, I will have an error object here. Okay, so I'll just console like console dot error of that particular. I'm just consoling them. Okay, so nothing other than that. Okay, so we just have try catch. Okay, even if you don't mention it, it's not an issue. Okay, but whenever you are doing some async operation, you should use try so that you can catch your error here. Okay, so now here we are making a get post and async await, and you will be getting response if it is success. Else it will go to the error here. Okay, so I will do the console here. Console.log of response. Okay, so once this response is done, okay, so what we need to do? We need to update our state, right? So this dot set state of post here. Okay, so before that, what I'll do is here I need to update my state here, right? So this dot, okay, I'll do a console first. Okay, so I'll do a console here. Okay, so now the question is for you: where should I call my get post? So you have created a function get posts here. Okay, so you have created 4 functions to do this. So first thing is your constructor will be called. Okay, next your render will be called, and it will display empty data because your state has post method. Okay, so now to get an API, just give me a minute. Sorry.
Okay, I think I lost my charge there. Okay, so do you guys hearing any background noise, or is it clear? So do you guys hear any background noise, or I can proceed with the loudspeaker itself? Some noise. Okay. Okay, just give me a minute. Is it good now? So do you get any background noise now? Okay. Yeah. Thanks for confirming, guys. So now, so where I was, okay, here. So what is the hierarchy? So we saw lifecycle methods, right? So here in your constructor, what you have done here, so your this dot state dot post, you just initialized a particular variable called post. Okay. So once your constructor is called, then the next thing is your render. Okay. So this particular thing will be called, and here it will render some empty element. Okay. So that's what we saw. So empty element is rendered now. Okay. So then where should we write this particular get post API, right? So where should we write this get post method, or where should we call this get post method so that it will display your data here? So that is the question for you. So if you keenly understand yesterday's concept, you will learn exactly component did mount. Okay. So in render before return, if you do that, what will happen? So do you get any noise still? Just give me a minute. Sorry about that. Is it good now? Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So now there was two answers. One is you need to you need to call your get post method from your render here. Okay. So this was one answer, and one was with your component did mount. Okay. So which is the right way? So let's see. Suppose, okay, so what I'll do is here I am having some set state here. Okay. So consider it in this way. So I will be writing set state obviously here in this particular place, right? So I will just console them. I mean, comment them. Okay. So now consider this is not commented. Okay. So you are updating your state once your get post is done. Okay. If you call here, what will happen? If you call your get post here, so something like this, what will happen? It will get reflected in UI. Again, get post will execute. Exactly. The second answer was correct. Your get post API here, right? So I told you, whenever there is an update happening into your state, your render function will be triggered. Okay. So if your answer is, see here, if you use inside, so first thing is constructor. Okay. So please watch this. Okay. So constructor, then render function is called. Okay. And you mentioned that, so we have a get post method. Okay, so in that particular get post method, we have our set state here. Okay, so simple here. Okay, so now constructor render will be called. If you call get post inside your render, what will happen? Your get post will be called. Okay, it will update your state. Again, render function will be called. Get post will be called. Again, it will come to here. Set state will be called, because set state because whenever state change happens, it will call render again. Again, inside render, get post will be called, and there will be a loop here. Understood the concept here? So why we should not use get post inside your render function? You should never write any logics inside your render function. Okay, please have it in your mind. There should be any logics inside your render function. Okay, render function should render only HTML elements. Okay, there shouldn't be any logics that you need to mention here. Okay, so now what you should where should be where the get post should be called? So obviously that is what I mentioned you on that day, or sorry, yesterday, inside your component did mount. Okay, so why constructor? Okay, so constructor. Okay, render. So render will initially it will render empty elements because your post array is empty. Now component did mount. Okay, so here inside your component did mount, you are calling get post. Okay, now what will happen? It will update your state. Okay, your state is completed, done. Okay, so your state your state process is done. This set state is done. So automatically what will happen? It will call your render function. Okay, so inside your render function, what will happen? It will update your state update your UI with a new data. Okay, because you have updated the state, right? Okay, again component mount will not be called, right? I mentioned you component mount will be called only once. So once you mounted the component, okay, so there will not be any looping mechanism happening there. Okay, so that's why you should write initial APIs inside your component did mount. Okay, clear? So clear on this? So why I said you should write your API calls inside your component did mount. So I showed you both the thing. So when you use get post inside your render, what will happen? It will be in the looping method. It will get into the loop and your browser will crash. Okay. Instead, inside component did mount, you need to make initial APIs. Okay. So this is the purpose of your lifecycle methods. Okay. So let's go ahead and do it here. Where is that? So here. Okay. So I will have a constructor. I can have component did mount here. Okay. So what I need to do inside my component did mount, I need to call my get post. Okay. So this dot get posts. Okay. So this is simple now. Okay. So let me go ahead to the browser. See here, I consoled my response, right? So here inside my component did mount, I just called my get post. Okay, I consoled my response, right? Okay, see the response. Your response is an object. It has your header, so consider header, your request. Okay, so other things. Okay, here there is something called data here, right? So that is what your successful data. See here now. So those 100 data is available inside this. Okay, so that's the thing. So inside, so whenever you use Axios, your response will be inside your data here. Okay, so configuration is nothing but the URL that you called and some request configuration. The data that you want that you want is inside your something called data property. Okay, so your response has certain properties in response is a object. Okay, so what are the properties that it has? Data, config, headers, and other things. Okay, but your desired data will be inside the data here. Okay, so what we need to do? We need to use something called response.data here. Okay, or you can do object destructuring from this. Okay, so I can do the data here. Okay, so I'm going to refresh the page. See, my data is fetched. Okay, so user ID and title and everything is done. Okay, so now what we need to do? So I got my data. Okay, so now what should I do? set state, exactly. So inside your set state, your post here, right? So posts, just assign that particular data to the post. Simple. Okay, see. So this is the real-time data. Your React application communicated to your server, get the data and displayed them here. See, 100 post. See, 100 post and the corresponding content. Okay, clear on this? Clear on the UI? So this is how every web application, the real-time web application works. Okay, you have a client application in front, so you can display these data in certain format, like using some CSS, Bootstrap, Materialize, whatever the CSS framework that you use. But the basic thing is you will be getting data from the server. You need to display it in the certain format that the user expects. Okay, so that's the thing. Yeah, I'll do 1 second. See here now. So what is the hierarchy? First thing is constructor, then the render function. Okay, initially I have post array, a array with the name called post in my state. Okay, so constructor, then my render function will be called. What will happen? I just had a header here. Okay, and then a body that renders all my post. So this dot state dot post dot map, and each and every post will be coming here, and in return I am returning all the post id, user id, title and body. Okay, so initially it will be empty. Okay, because we have post array as empty here. Okay, so now what you need to do, you need to communicate to the server here, right? So here and get the data. So that's why I written a function called get post. Okay, same way I will be using the same for creating a post, updating a post and deleting a post. Okay, so on inside the get post, what I have done, I just make an API call to my server and get all the post. Okay, so these are all the post. Okay, here how to do that? Using Axios. So we have a library called Axios that is going to communicate to the server. Okay, similarly you had a fetch API, right? In the case of JavaScript, same way here you can even use fetch API here. Okay, so we prefer to use Axios. Okay, so here Axios. So if you want to do get method, okay, you need to use dot get. If you want to use put method, you just use put. Same way for post. In that case, I'm going to get all the posts, right? So it uses get method. Okay, so Axios dot get, and you need to mention what is the URL that you are going to request. Okay, so this is the URL I'm going to request my data. Okay, so then I'll be getting my response here. Okay, so this is obvious. So I'm making an API call to the server and I'll be getting some response here. Okay, so response in my in this particular response here. Okay, so here what I do is I use async await. So why do I use async await? This particular response here, right? So I'm making a request to my server, right? It may take some time and it is something called asynchronous operation. Okay, so we don't know the exact timing it is going to happen. Okay, so we basically use something called promises or callback and other things. Okay, so this is the latest syntax of your ES6. We have something called async await. Okay, so what it means is if you mention await before the particular function, okay, it will wait until this function is completed. Okay, so that's something similar to promise. So we have something called promise dot then. So when the then will be called, once your process is done, then only then will be called, right? Same way here, once this particular process is completed, it will wait. That's what you gave a keyword called await. Okay, so if you use await here, you need to mention async in your function definition here. Okay, so that's why async await. Okay, so now it will wait for the data and we will be getting the response here. Okay, and your Axios response object here, right? It will have 4 different properties inside it. Okay, so response is an object. So basically response is an object inside that. Okay, so there will be like property called config. Okay, there will be a property called data and other things. Okay, so inside that we need only data. Okay, so the response that we want to get. Okay, so you can directly call response dot data. Okay, or we can just do object destructuring here. Okay, so either way data here. Okay, so now what will happen when you call get post? Okay, it will update your state to the all the post. Okay, so that's what you have done here. So this dot set state post and the data from the server. Okay, so now the question is, where do you want to call this get post? So that is the question here, right? So that's what. So initially constructor will be called, then the render function will be called. Okay, so it will render empty element, okay, empty data, because it doesn't have anything in your post array. So then the component in mount will be called, right? So inside my component did mount, I just call my get post. Okay, so this dot get post. So now what will happen? Your get post will be called, sorry, get post will be called, and you are updating the state. Okay, so whenever you update a state, what will happen? Your render function will be called. Okay, so that's why it is rendering the data in the UI. Okay, see, clear on this? So the response is JSON, right? Then how it get converted to JS object? JSON object, everything is same. So there is nothing new. So everything is a JavaScript object. So it will automatically, those things are done by your Axios itself. So both are same. So JSON or JavaScript object, everything is same, right? So that's not a different thing. Okay, so now can you explain object destructuring one more time? Sure. Here, so I'll explain the object destructuring one more time. So you have, for example, I will have the same thing here. Okay, so you have response object. Inside that, okay, what is the data that we have? One is configuration. Okay, I will have something like empty here for now. Okay, so then I will have a data. Okay, and some more properties, something called test. Okay, so test here. Okay, so if you want to access your data property, how should you do? We should do something called response dot data. Okay, in order to get that property. So empty thing is we are getting empty response here. Okay, so instead of doing this, so that's why object destructuring comes. Okay, so here, see here now, const. So what is the property that you want from this particular thing? Data, right? So data, and from where you want it, something called response here. Okay, so response. So you have your response object here, right? Okay, so now if I print data, that particular data will be assigned here. Okay, so the same applies here. Okay, so here you had something called response. Okay, so this particular API here, right, your Axios, right, it gives us, I just stored it in a variable called response. Okay, this particular response here, this call, right, it gives us an object as an object. Okay, so that particular object has data, request, some other particular config, these properties inside it. Okay, so it returns a JavaScript object. Inside that we have a property called data, request, and config. Okay, if you want only the data part here, okay, how to do that? You just need to here, you need to call them using response dot data. Okay, so simple here, response dot data, and you will assign them to here. Okay, so you don't need request, you don't need config and other properties, right? So why do we need response then? Okay, only you need only the data property from your response. Okay, so then you don't need request and configuration at all, right? So it's not like it's costly to use them. Okay, instead just plug your data part alone from that response. Okay, so other request, configuration, everything will be skipped. Okay, so only data will be available here. Okay, so that's something called object destructuring. Okay, clear on this? Clear on the object destructuring part? Is it clear? So basic JavaScript. Okay, so now yeah, okay, thank you. So now we are going to what we'll do is okay, I will first start with the delete now. Okay, so I'm going to have a delete post here. Okay, I'm going to call this particular post. So when should I call? Okay, so what I'll do is, before that, see, I'm going to refresh my page. See the here. Okay, so I'm refreshing the page here. Okay, so here there is a warning. So what is the warning here? Each child in a list should have a unique key property. Each child in a list should have a unique key property. Okay, So what is the reason behind this warning? So that's what we are going to see now. Okay. So keys is an important concept in your React. Okay. See it here. So each child in a list. Okay. So where you have the list here? So this is the list here, right? So you have a list and you are returning rendering each and every element inside that particular list. Okay. So what it throws a warning, it's a warning. Okay, it's not an error, but you should consider this. Okay. Each child in a list should have a unique key property. Okay. So this is a unique data. Okay. When next data come, it is unique data. When next data come, it is unique data. Okay, something like this. This row is different, this row is different, this row is different. Okay, so there should be a key property. Okay, so a key property here, we should provide a key here. Okay, so here, so that other things are different from each and every post is different. Okay, so this is very specific to React. Okay, see here, you are just looping through each and every rows. Okay, each row, whenever you use looping mechanism, okay, you should have a unique key property that is going to identify that particular row. For example, you should create an identifier for this particular row. For example, if this particular row should have a unique key, this particular row should have a unique key. Okay, so that is the thing. So here we have post.id, right? So we have a post.id which is unique for each and every post, right? We can mention that key itself directly, something like post.id. Okay, so now if I refresh, okay, that warning will go. Okay, see, that warning is not available now. Okay, so clear on this? So what is the purpose of key? So there is the key, the purpose of key is, so there will be an interview question for sure. Okay, so whenever you use a looping mechanism, okay, inside that you are rendering different childs. Okay, so looping each and every child here. Okay, so each and every rows here, so each and every row, so this is only when you use looping mechanism. Okay, so when you use this in this way, okay, you should mention a key property to your parent here. Okay, so each and every child should have a parent here, right? So it should have something called a key property, and that particular key value here that you mentioned here, right, that should be unique between all the rows here. Okay, so if it is a row or it is a paper or a child or whatever the thing here, okay, each and every row should have a unique property. Okay, so in our case we have id as a unique property, right? So I mentioned the key property as directly like post.id. Okay, so now that particular warning vanishes. Okay, clear on this part? So clear about the keys. So why do we use keys? So this is just a warning. Okay, so this is a standard that you need to follow when you use React. Okay, so this is not a mandatory. So if you don't mention key, it will not render. It will not render. It's not that case. Okay, you should always. It is a good practice. So if post does not have unique value like ID, okay, that's a good question. Okay, so if the post doesn't have, for example, he asked me a question here, your post, okay, had a different unique id. Okay, suppose if you don't have any id, what will happen? So your map function, if you have learned map function, there will be something called index here, right? So have you learned of that? So each and every array will have an index here. Okay, you can mention that index directly. Okay, so here, so that's obviously it should be unique, right? In any other part. Okay, so in any part this should be unique, right? So there will not be any it should be unique by default. So that's why we need to use something called index if you want to use it in that way. Okay, so data is defined, data index. Okay, so now the error vanishes, the same error. Okay, so you can use index. Okay, so either you can use the id from your post id or you can use the array index. Okay, so array index is nothing but for example, this should have an index of 0 in your array, 1, 2 and 3, right? So that is what the index is. But you have some unique id, you can go ahead with post.id itself. Okay, but 99% there will be a unique id in your response itself. Okay, so there will not be any scenario with index. Okay, but if you face that issue, you need to use something called index. Okay, clear on the keys part. Okay, thanks for confirming. Now so here, okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to use my delete here. Okay, so delete API method here. Okay, so what I'll do is I will have one more column called action. Okay, there I can have delete button to each and every row here. Okay, so here I will have one more thing. So what was the warning that was popping out there? TH cannot appear as a child of T head. Okay, so that's a HTML issue. Okay, so here I can have something called action. Okay, and here I can have a button. Okay, so for example, inside my TD, I can have a button, something called delete. Okay, simple. So now each and every row should have a delete button. Okay, see tr here. I mean delete here. So now whenever you click on this particular button, okay, I'm going to call this function. Okay, so that is what we are going to achieve, right? So whenever I click on that particular button here on click, I'm going to call my delete post. Okay, so now you just called your delete post here. Okay, but what is the post you are going to delete? You need that particular ID, right? So here you need to call your post API use, and you need that particular ID, right? How it is, how can you pass that ID? Yeah, here you need to call it in this way. Okay, and send your post dot ID. Okay, simple. Okay, so see here, very simple, right? Post dot ID, and here you will be getting that particular post ID. Simple. Okay, so here instead of taking ID, user ID, title and body, okay, you can just do object destructuring. So basic the object destructuring, user ID, title. So try to use object destructuring in many part of things. Okay, it will reduce your code. So ID, user ID, title, body, and ID here as well. Okay, so the basic object destructuring. I just restructured my post to only have ID, user ID, and other things. Okay, so when I click on that particular ID here, I will be getting my post ID, right? So I'll just console them. So console.log of post ID. Okay, so if I click on the particular delete button, the ID of that particular post will be coming there. Okay, so I'm going to fourth post here. Okay, if I delete this, I'm getting 4. Same way if I delete 15, 15th ID. Same way if I click 25, 25. Okay, so using this ID, we can delete the post now, right? So how can we do that? So you are going to instruct me. So here, what should I do? What should I do? I need to delete that particular post. Exactly. Axios dot delete. Okay. Here, okay, I will have await here. Delete here. Okay. So what is the URL? Here I have the URL. Okay. Okay. So now what should be the URL to delete? URL/ID, right? Here I need to post my ID, post ID. Okay. So now how to append my ID here? Exactly. So you should use template literal. So you learned template literal already, right? So I just want to confirm. That's why I asked you guys the question. So you guys learned template literal, right? Okay. So if you use template literal, you should use tilde symbol here. Okay, instead of quotes, tilde. Okay, and here you need to mention dollar and post ID. Okay, simple. And we will store the data here. So if you need. Okay, data here. Okay, so we'll do console. console.log off. So what should we get in this response? So what we should get as a response whenever we delete that? No, it's not like data having ID. You are going to delete that particular data. I mentioned you here. See, I use delete type. It will return empty object here. Okay, so that is the response that we get. Okay, so whenever you delete that, when you should return empty response from your server side, and it is representing that your data is deleted. Okay, so now let's see. Go here. There is a tab here. Okay, so console here, whatever the console that you do, it will be available here in your console. And if you go to the network tab here, okay, so network tab here, so you are making an API call to the server, right? So whatever the API call that you are making, that will be applied here. Okay, so if I refresh the page, it should make an get call, right? See, it is making a get call. Okay, so post. See here, request URL. What is the URL that you requested? What is the method? Okay, and if you go to the response here or the preview, see, response will be available. Okay, so the same. Okay, whenever we delete this, what will happen? There it should make an API call to the server using delete API. So currently its request method is get. Okay, because initially you made a get request. Okay, so if I'm going to delete my first data, delete. Okay, so see here now. So delete method is called. Okay, see, request method is deleted, and this is the URL that we mentioned. In response, we'll getting empty object. Okay, empty object. We got the same here as well because we consoled it here. Okay, now you have deleted in the server. What about the UI? So data is deleted in the server. So what about the UI? So any ideas? Exactly, it's change state. Okay, so let's see. So no component data update. So what is the purpose of component data update here? So we are not updating our state here, right? We just deleted deleted the particular data. We haven't updated our state. So no component did state here. It's again we are going to change the state. Okay. So what we are going to do here is, once your delete operation is done here, so here we don't need the data at all. Anyways, it will be deleted. Okay. So we don't need this data. Okay. Here, what I will do is, we have our where do we have our data? So we are having our data inside our array called post, right? Okay. So in that post, we will do some array manipulations and remove this particular data alone. Okay. So what I am doing, what I am telling is understanding, right? We are, whenever I click on delete button, I will make an API call to server and it will be deleted. Okay. Then I need to delete it from the UI, right? How can I do that? So it is this particular data this data is, it is inside your post array in your state. Okay. What we will do is, we will remove this data from the post array and update the state. Okay. And then that particular data will be removed, right? See. So first I will take a copy of my post. Okay. So I will take a copy of my post, this dot state dot posts. Okay. So whatever that I have it in the UI post. Okay. So it will have a copy here. Okay. Now posts equal to post. So we need to remove this particular thing, right? So remove this particular ID, right? How can we do that? We can use something called filter. Okay. Filter, and we'll be getting each and every ID. I mean every post here. So post dot ID not equal to the post ID here. Okay. So understood this? Is this understandable? So what I did is, in order to remove this from the UI, I just use something called normal array operation. I just use a filter method to filter to remove this thing. Okay, except this particular ID have every other post. Okay, so that's what I mentioned here. Okay, now if I use this dot set state, Okay, so we will get here. Okay, so here posts. Okay, so since key and values are same, you need not mention in this way. Okay, you can directly mention in this way. Okay, so now if I do refresh, okay, so I'm going to delete this, and we are getting an error. Okay, it's const variable, sorry. Okay, so here, see the same thing. I'm going to delete this. See, it is also removed from the UI as well. Okay, so see here, delete this, delete this. Okay, see, it is deleted. Okay, so that's what we have done here. Okay, so can't we just call get post inside delete post? Since deleted post is not available in API, it will render the remaining data. Yeah, so now I'm going to answer this. Okay, so I got a comment in the chat box. Okay, so instead of making these things, okay, I can directly call my get post here, right? So is that a valid question? So it's valid, right? So instead of making these things, okay, I can directly call this dot get post again and update my state, right? So it's a valid question, right? So then why did not do that? Any reasons? So why did we not do that? It's a very simple method. So once you delete it, just call that particular post method. Okay. So then why did we not delete it? No, it will reflect in your UI, right? So what will happen? You delete that particular data. Okay, it will be deleted in the server as well. Okay, then you can call the get post. Okay, inside your get post, you are getting the latest response, and it will be updated to the state, and render function will be called. Okay, so it will reflect in the UI as well. Then why didn't we call this? Use this. Exactly. What happens here is, for now you will have around 100 data. Okay, in the real time scenario you will have thousands of data that to be loaded in the UI. Okay, so in the real time scenario or real time application, you will load around 1000 or like n number of data that you are going to load here. Okay, you should always restrict yourself to make an API call to the server. Okay, so your server should be always limited. The calls should be limited so that it will be efficient in your UI. Okay, consider you have around 10,000 or 1 lakh data you are populated here. Okay, you just deleted one data. Okay, so why do we need to make an API call to get 10,000 data and those 10,000 data to be rendered again? So that is something, it is not efficient way, right? Instead you have the data already in your server here. Okay, so you have already a post array here. You are just updating that particular data. Okay, so you are restricting an API call to the server and making your UI efficient. Okay, so consider now you are getting the response like just in a second. Okay, so just like a second you are getting response. But in the real time scenario, so if you go to any website, it will take some time to load, right? Because of its data. Okay, so it will take at least 5 seconds to load those data. In order to overcome this, okay, you can directly do some array manipulations here. Okay, and it will you can just do everything in the front end itself. Okay, you need not go to the server and get those 10,000 lakh of records to the server, and it takes something like 5 seconds to load the data, and it will be like it will not be an efficient one. Okay, so you should always restrict your API calls to the server before moving on, before whenever you use APIs. Okay, so please don't do that. This is very easy concept. Okay, just delete it and call them. Okay, so if it is like you have, if you know that you will have only like 1000 data, or maximum you will have around 100 or 500 data, you can go ahead do this. Okay, if you don't want to do this, okay, what you can do is here is you can do array manipulations here. Just filter out that particular data and do those manipulations. Okay, so that's the thing. So you should always prefer it this way. So since, for example, if I delete this, it should get data like 1000 data again. If I delete this, it should get it again. So it will make your user feel embarrassing. So he will feel like your application is very slow. Okay, You should never do that. If you do some certain operation, it should always affect only that particular data here. Okay, clear? So why now you are clear, right? So why we didn't do that? So it's only for the efficiency. Okay, your application efficiency. Clear on this? Can everyone confirm? Okay, I will explain the delete alone now. Okay, so for the delete operation, very simple. Okay, I have a button in my UI for each and every row. Okay, so here, and inside that particular button, whenever I click on that button, I'm just passing the ID of that post that I'm going to delete. Okay, so I'll be just sending the ID here. Okay, so whenever I click on that particular button, delete post will be called. Okay, and here what I have done, I'm calling my delete API. Okay, using that particular ID, so that we mentioned here. So what it does, it will delete your API, delete your data from the server. Okay, so obvious. Okay, we know that already. Always use try. Okay, so I forgot to mention. Always use try here. So console.error. So I am here consoling my error, but in the real-time scenario, you will be showing error to the user in certain format, UI format. Okay. So for now, this is for learning purpose. Okay. So try. Okay. Try deleting the API. If this is success, okay. So what will happen now? You just took a copy of your post into a different variable here. Okay. And filter out all the post except this particular post that you deleted. Okay, so that's the what. So post dot filter, you will be getting each and every post here, and that particular ID should not be equal to the deleted post. Okay, so except this ID, except this particular ID, render all the post. Okay, so that is the logic that I have written here. So my post will have new data here, and I'm just setting the state here. Okay, so the latest post. Okay, now it should not have my latest post. See here, if I delete this, it will remove. Okay, so if I delete this, it will get removed. Okay, but in the case if you write get post inside it, what will happen? And I will delete this, it will reload the page, reload the component alone, all the data will be fetched. It will take at least 5 seconds, and those things. Okay, you should skip them always. Okay, so that is how your delete works. Okay, so here you are getting post.id, right? You can just do object destructuring. So wherever possible, use object destructuring. Okay, simple. So now this particular URL is common to update post, create post, and get post, right? You can store it in a variable here anywhere. Okay, so const API URL and store it in a variable. Simple here. Okay, so this is going to be common, right? So that's why. So API URL, and you can have the API URL for here. Same way in the delete operation. So always keep these things. Okay, so it is easy for you to write your code efficiently. So always prefer to reduce your code. Okay, the same, I just copied it to a different variable and used it here. Okay, so clear on this? So clear on the update, get and delete part? Any questions? Okay, thanks for confirming. So yeah, it's already time. Okay, so we'll see the create post and update post tomorrow. Okay, so what we'll have here is here we'll have a form. Okay, that form will take your user ID, title, body, and these three things as a input. Okay, we will have a form here. Okay, and once you submit that particular form, okay, we will create a post. Okay, suppose if we will have one same for update. Okay, we have delete button here, right? We will have one more thing called update. Okay, so here we will have something called update button. Using that update button, we will populate the data that is here inside to that particular form and update the data. Okay, so we'll see it tomorrow. We will not confuse them. For now, you should understand what you should understand is the way we use component did mount. Okay, the way we use Axios, how API is been created, something like the URLs, something like this. get should be something like this and post should be something like this. Put should have an id at the end and delete should have id at the end, and same way how it communicates with the server and other things. Okay, so some basic things you need to understand here. Okay, then you need to go here and using Axios, we just make an API call to the server. So deleting the post, okay, and getting the post. For now, we just use two APIs. One is get and one is delete. Okay, and we just rendered them here. Okay, so a quick recall of them. Okay, clear? Can we wind up the session? Is it clear? Okay, so before moving on to that, I think I have a task for you. Okay, if you go to the Zen portal, there will be a task for you. Did you guys noticed it? So there might be two tasks. So one is this. So please log into the Zen portal. Okay, so there you will have some task and you need to submit them. Okay, please do it. It is must. Okay, so you should always complete the tasks that are given. So the task that I give personally here uh, it is going to affect only me and you. Okay, but the task in the Zen portal is only for you, so you need to submit them. Okay, so maybe like it will be updated. Okay, so the task would be right, it is very easy. See here, so this is the task. Okay, so this particular part, so here this particular part alone. Okay, so the blue color. Okay, so they will give you HTML part here. Okay, so see here the HTML part, they will give you CSS. Okay, and they will give you the CSS that are used, something like bootstrap minimum min.css, bootstrap bundle.css, everything, JS and everything. Okay, and you need to render this UI in your React. Okay, so basically render this UI. How can I do it? So I should not ask that question. Can you do it? Is it easy, right? You have your HTML, you have your CSS, you have the CSS and JS part that is going to that is going to be imported. For example, if I click on this, just use this URL in your script tag. Okay, the same way here your HTML is there. Okay, only thing is here you have something called class here, right? So class in the case of React, what should you know? What should you use here in the place of class? Class name, exactly. So those things, so you need to just modify them. Okay, so nothing it is going to be static one. Okay, so in the end it should be something it should look like something like this. Okay, your task will be uploaded by the student coordinator. Okay, so this will be your task, I think the first task. Okay, just like use it in this way. Okay, here what you need to consider here is, so this is where your logical thinking is. Okay, so here you have three things. Okay, so in the starting stage itself, what you find from this UI? So how your brain works now, I need to see that. I need to know that. So you see three columns here. Okay, so what is the thing you need to develop in your React? Exactly. You should create only one component. Okay, you should create this particular only one component and use a looping mechanism to loop these three things. Okay, so you should never duplicate your code. Okay, the same code should not be available again. Okay, so the same logic here. Okay, so there are three things. Okay, you should create only once. Okay, and inside that particular data only should be modified. Okay, so that's the thing. So please consider them. Okay, so just don't copy these things. Okay, always prefer reducing your code. So these lines here, right? So around like 100 lines maybe. Okay, your code should have only 10 lines or 20 lines, maximum 15 lines. Okay, it should be reduced to 50% of the code should be reduced. Okay, so that's where your efficient and logical thinking comes in place. Okay, so don't just copy this HTML directly and put it in your component. Okay, or in your component render function. Instead, create a component called pricing, something like this is a pricing page. Okay, so this is something called, you can have any name, pricing component or any other thing. Okay, so just create a component called pricing. Just send these status as a property like object or array or whatever the thing that you want to pass. Okay, and use them in 3 places. Just loop them here. Okay, so that's where your understanding is. Okay, so that's where your logical thinking is. So this will be your first task. I think it will be uploaded in the Zen portal, maybe. I'm not sure today or tomorrow. So but the key is this. Okay, yesterday I showed you importing CSS, right? Did you guys remember that, importing, how to import CSS in your app.js or I think index.js? Just import them in this way. Okay, you can do it in this way. Same way here, you just have a file, just copy this. Okay, just copy the CSS and put it in the place of here index.css. That's it. Okay, same way these resources here, right? So for example, if I click on this, I need to have it in the script tag. Where should I import them? So these JS files, where should I import them? In are you sure index.js? No, exactly, someone mentioned there, it's index.html. Here you can have script tags mentioned here. Okay, so basic thing here, right? So script source and have that here. That's it. Okay, so that's where your thinking is here. Just have these CSS into your index.html. Okay, so it will work as expected. So that's your first task. So there would be any JavaScript. This is only UI. Okay, so but your understanding here is you need to have you need to create a component. See this wrong icon here, right? So this is tick and this is wrong. So those things also you should think in the way, like you should think in a way of having dynamically. Okay, so what I'll do is try this. Okay, tomorrow I will review your demo. I will ask at least 2 to 3 people to demo, and but here I will demo I'm not expecting the UI. Okay, I'm expecting the code how you reduced it. Okay, so let's see it tomorrow. Okay, so please do this task tomorrow. I will share this URL as well. So once you have done it, you can upload them in the Zen portal as well. So I'll have it here as well. Okay, so CRUD app using React. So get and delete is done. And task is Zen portal task 1. Okay, so please try out this. I will ask you to demo tomorrow, not the UI. I need the code. Okay, you already have everything, but the thing way you think is matters here. Okay, so let's see. So I'll share you the things in your chat box, and your feedback link is here. Yeah, if you have any questions, please do ask me. And okay, once we delete the ID, it will be deleted in the JSON database also. So why I'm still not clear in the concept behind it, sir? So once we delete the ID, it will be deleted in the JSON. Yes, once you call the delete API, it will be deleted in the JSON database or deleted in the database. Okay, right. So I'm still not clear in the concept behind it. I'm not getting your question. Can you unmute and speak? How filter? So here, so what we have done here is we just deleted from the UI. Okay, I mean we just deleted it in the server. Okay, we haven't deleted. So how filter will be done when there is no such data? Your data is still in your URL, right? See here now. I'll just console. I mean just remove this. Okay, so if I go here and call my delete here. Okay, so what happens here? It will delete the UI, delete the data in your server. Okay, so you pick that logic we have written here. Okay, so making an API called the server. Okay, It is not deleted from your post array, right? So your post array still have data, and that's why your UI has that. So it should reflect in the UI also, right? Okay, so that's why I'm just plugging that particular data here, just having a copy of post here, filtering all the data except this particular post, okay, and then updating the state. Okay, so now it should reflect them in the UI. Okay, yeah, can you send the please yesterday's code? So yesterday's code, okay, I will share you the yesterday's code. So desktop app here, public source here. So what are the things that yesterday I covered you? Job app 1, 2, and job application. I said, oh, here. So yesterday I covered you job app, 2 and other things. Okay, so I will share it here. Why is it not uploading? Oh. So is it a good practice to only have one class in each module? So, and can you please share the dependencies you are using in VS Code to beautify the code? Sure. Yeah. Tomorrow, I will show you some. So I'm using some libraries in my Visual Studio Code. Okay. So that's why even if I do something like this, see here. So for example, if I have something like this, if I save, it will automatically align my code. Okay. So I have a library that is running here, something called Prettier. It's so if it is okay, I can share you now. Here, I forgot that. Just give me a minute. Okay, what I'll do is I will share you that tomorrow. Okay, so the libraries that I use in Visual Studio Code to align my code and other things. Okay, so please remind me tomorrow. Okay, I will do that. And I have shared the file, and the today's file is post app. Yeah, I have shared those files as well. Always please refer. Please don't refer them before you try out. Okay, so always try out first and then refer them. So that's why I'm not sharing you the code. Okay, so have it as a reference purpose alone. Yeah, I have shared you the feedback link, and if there is nothing, we can wind up the session for today. Okay, yeah, have a great rest of the day, guys. Please let me know if you have any doubts. We will clear it off tomorrow. Yeah, bye bye.